Hey guys, this is Stephen Lee. Just want to give a quick update first of what's going on, and I'm just gonna dive straight into the topic afterwards, because there's some things that really are like just really on my heart that like I feel like I need to say. First of all, the first thing I want to say is like on Sunday, like last Sunday, I got my old Instagram account back, the conservative one too. Finally, after like just 3 days of emailing Instagram, telling them to help me with the situation. Finally, I got it. Wow, it's such a relief. And now, uh, I'm not the one that that's gonna be like sending all these scam posts. Like I'm not gonna do that. I will 100% promise my followers on Instagram that I will never ever spam or scam anyone offering you free money in exchange for your accounts. I will never do that. On my Instagram, it's always just gonna be I'm gonna keep it based and real all the time. So that's out of the way, and so I want to talk about just a very specific thing, like about how conservatives can win the culture war. There's a lot of things that really could either go right or go wrong, when it comes to like conservatives fighting in this culture war against the liberals. Because a lot of times, currently right now, the liberals, they have the power to like take over academia. They have the power to like take over like our education system, and just even like they usurp power even over like the TV shows, the Hollywoods. Use that to create they will use that influence just to like sway the minds of so many individuals and to like and just feed them bad propaganda. But it's like, as conservatives, what we need to do, uh, it's like a lot of times if we can't use government power to try and like get people to agree, with preserving traditional values, a lot of times it needs to start with the education system. We gotta first take back the education system. And just like one of the biggest mistakes, I think Vince Dow and a couple other conservatives have mentioned this as well. It's like one of the biggest mistakes that conservatives have made is surrendering our education system to the liberal elites. And so what happened was the liberal elites, they've taken advantage of that and just like even used their power to like basically just like brainwash kids. Is the wrong thing. Now it's like now you got to teach kids about like this whole critical race theory, the LGBTQ sex ed. They want to force now the liberals, they want to force that on the children. And so, but I think conservatives, where we can start is we got to make sure that we can counter the liberal degeneracy and just like taking back the education system. Uh, we need to implement values of like hard work, responsibility. Like we need to teach kids. One of the first things that we need to teach kids is how they need to survive in the real world. And just even teaching them about hard work, responsibility, caring for our fellow man. That is so important. It is so important for us as conservatives that we need to install all good values and common sense as into the minds of our kids. Not that we force feed them, but it's like we help them to see the reality of what's going on. It's like how they can live in the real world. Because every single every single child's mind, it's like a lot of times they may or they may not understand all the time. But it's like we gotta teach them slowly. We gotta teach them about like how like we as people we get to live with a common faith, common goal. You know, and how like common sense triumphs over subjective opinions. And so that's the first thing that we start is like by like retaking making our education system. Number two, we as conservatives, we have is I know I said earlier, like, there are times that we can't necessarily try to force our way back to government power, but like actually there are times, actually a lot of times that we can go after government power. It's like we need to start as conservatives by campaigning and electing the right people in our government. Like whatever goes on in Washington, because there's a saying that goes like, whatever goes on in Washington D.C., it influences the nation itself. And so we as conservatives need to start electing the right people in office. Like, and what I mean is, like, I know, some people, they're probably going to be skeptical of, like, oh, like, what are you talking about? Like, we'll just like vote red no matter what. I mean, that's true to an extent, but when it comes to like primaries, it's like we can't just vote any Republican. We got to vote for the ones that really are serious about espousing true conservative values, not mainly the ones that like only look out for their self-interest. That's why I myself, like, not only do I consider myself paleo-conservative, but I also would tell people that I'm a right-wing populist. I'm a right-wing populist in the sense that, like, I'm against the establishment people making empty promises to regular American citizens like myself, and yet doing absolutely nothing about it. But instead, they look out for their own self-interest, and then they look down on ordinary folks like me, like we're the scum of the earth. But then there are, not everybody's like that, but then there are people who really do care about putting America first. There are people who really love this country. And they simply want change. They simply want to speak to the needs of the people. They want to rant on like popular, like real conservative candidates for any election. They really want to serve the needs of the people. They want to speak to the people's needs, and not like just continually give it to what the establishment wants. That's what Donald Trump ran on. Trump, when he started his campaign in 2016, he ran on a campaign of draining the swamp. The swamp in DC is corrupt, and therefore we gotta drain it down. And Trump started the populist fire that we gotta keep going. And so to my fellow conservative voters, it's like we need to stop electing establishment people in offices. Stop. Like, for example, what has Brian Kemp done? What good has Brian Kemp done for the state of Georgia? If anything, like, I feel like he's accomplished little to nothing for conservatism in his own state. And it's like, a lot of times, the establishment Republicans, like even neocons, like, Liz Cheney, Mitt Romney, or whoever, and people like them, they don't accomplish anything. Instead, they've worked tirelessly to subvert the America First movement. They want to subvert the MAGA movement. And instead, they just keep working with the same old establishment people. And then they sided with the enemies that, they're supposed to be fighting against, but they're not. They're people like Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney. They're traitors to our cause, to the conservative cause, to the America First cause. And so I'm saying, like, if anything, if there are Republicans that are ineffective, primary them and replace them with better suitable MAGA candidates. And another thing too, I think, and this is probably like gonna be my third and like last thing I'll say, is we gotta we also need to help to influence our neighborhood. We gotta go into the like if you're surrounded like amongst your friendship circles, amongst your family, whatever, like for all my fellow conservatives, like we gotta not be afraid to speak up for the truth in our communities, in our families, our friendship circles, like whether you're in college or you're at home, you know, for those that may be politically ignorant, those that are like kind of leaning more toward the liberal side, or like those that identify for the or like you know that even for those that like identify as conservative but are not sure of the things they want to say, we help convince them like what's going on. We got to let them know the truth of like what's going on, and we got to ask them the question like, do we want the values that we hold dear? Do we want the values that we hold dear to go away? So yeah. Uh, and honestly speaking, if I'm going to be very honest with you guys, I do see a bright future for conservatism in 2022, like for the midterms. I do see that we're going to have a red wave year in 2022. Like, I do believe we're going to take back the House and the Senate. It's like, you know, depending on which candidate gets elected into office, it's like, either way, the Biden administration, they're going to have to face an uphill battle. If real America First conservatives get elected into offices of, you know, the House, the Senate, and even like the gubernatorial elections, the attorney general elections, any elections, and then in Biden's administration, they're gonna have to like see what's going on. They're gonna have to like change up their strategy. Like we're gonna have to like we'll have enough power to subvert what Biden and his administration want. And so yeah, like yeah, I just want to just let you guys know what's going on. I'm gonna say this: I'm not dead. I've not been dead. Like I'm still alive. I am alive as heck, and I will not stop of fighting for true conservative values here in America. And I will always fight. Like as an American patriot, I will always fight for America first before any other country on this very planet. And so 3 things we got to remember as conservatives: Jesus Christ is king, family is important, and America comes first. Thank you.